going to explore the potential correlation of shame and how it impacts our assertiveness. Now, research suggests, at least some research suggests, that the biological function of shame is to prevent us from behaving in a way outside the boundaries of our social group. And you'll know from an evolutionary history point of view, our biggest chance of survival was to be in a group of people. And if we acted outside the boundaries of that group, then we could be ostracized and we could be then faced to survive in the wild on our own. Our best chance to survive was within the group. Now, if we sort of fast forward to the world we live in today, we see a correlation, at least in some research, where shame can lead to maladaptive behavior, even pathology. There are some people who suggest that, or some experts suggest that it has a link to trauma. But in this instance, we're going to sort of focus on assertiveness and how it can have an impact and what we can do. Now, each case is different and every individual is different. It's just some ideas going forward. So the spectrum could be anything from, say, you visit a friend you've not seen for a while and they put some food out that you don't particularly like and you know it's not going to feel great for eating it, but you eat it and you're not assertive enough to say, well, I don't want that. Or alternatively, it might stop you from doing a presentation or going to an interview or just sort of speaking out about something and you feel that sense of shame. Now, when you think of a baby, the baby being born, when the baby's hungry, it cries, and when the baby wants nurturing, it cries and expresses itself. And you'll see a child, when a child speaks their mind up to certain points, at a 3 or 4 year old, you know, they say they want the ice cream, they say they want whatever's on their mind, or they want to go to the toilet for a wee, or whatever is on their mind. And gradually what tends to happen is that that assertiveness becomes eroded over time because the people around us, our carers, our parents, our social group, they put these expectations around us. And they can be a useful thing too, because obviously certain situations there's a norm that we adhere to, but also can be debilitating too. One thing to sort of help make that decision and to sort of clarify is whenever you feel that feeling of shame is to recognize the feeling, and rather than fighting it and sort of carrying on, and just recognize it and take a step back and dissociate from it rather than personalize it or internalize it. Just sort of recognize it. Once you've done that, you can accept it's there. It's okay to feel that way. It's biologically normal. It's okay to feel that way rather than resist. Now you can start to investigate the feeling and the behavior. Now, what's it telling you? What's it preventing you from doing? Is it something that you want to challenge? Is it something that's going to pass? You may not want to challenge it. It might be this too shall pass. It won't last forever unless you really focus on it. But equally what you can do too is to sort of start separating the mesh between the feeling and the behavior, and also the physiology as well, how you feel anyway physiologically, and dissociate from it. And once you've done that, you can look at it in new ways. You can see it in a different way. Perhaps designed to keep you safe. Equally, perhaps it's kept you safe for a while to feel that way and to behave that way. But going forward, you can make a decision whether to draw an underline and decide, will I sort of carry on feeling this way based on a situation that happened a very, very long time ago, or based on a combination of situations, and you decide what it's preventing you from doing. So if it's preventing you from sort of speaking in the public, or going for that interview, or writing that article because you're concerned about what people will say and you really want to do it, then you can sort of look at it in a new way and think, well, it's worked to a point because it's kept you safe, but now you can start to release it. But the key point here is to sort of recognize the feeling when it's sort of, when you start to feel it, and then rather than sort of fight it, resist it, just you can sort of accept it's there, not resign it's there. You can sort of let it float away into the distance, just like, say, for example, if you stubbed your elbow, you might experience the pain, but it's going to go away. This too shall pass. Alternatively, you might think, well, I'll investigate a bit deeper and look at how you're internalizing it, and see the link between the behavior and the feeling, and the feeling and the behavior, and then start looking at ways that you can change to help you go forward. And that's certainly a process I use with people around shame and assertiveness. And more often than not, some of these things stem back from many, many years ago, particularly people who do presentations, for example, or they might want to write an article, or they might want to write a book, or they might want to do something that's sort of out there in the public domain, and a lot of it sometimes stems back from early experiences, but that's another story for another day. So there is that biological function of shame, and it prevents us from behaving outside the boundaries of the social group, but equally in saying that, sometimes you've got to question the social group, and you've got to question the boundaries, and you've got to question what you want as well. Live with passion. Boom.